Hey everyone, this is Jeff back at Petrick's Project Bench. I've had some questions from a friend up north on Freecad, and he really liked these meter stands. That I make for my various meters that holds them in a nice position. So I thought we would take a look how I go about starting out with the meter dimensions and how it progresses into the Freecad program and how I get sent off to the printer. So we're going to get started with, we're going to use this meter right here as an example. And let me grab a micrometer. Digital micrometer readout, and I do everything in millimeters. So we're going to just start out with a basic drawing, kind of how I want the meters. I kind of like a 35-degree angle on them, roughly about like that. And but we can adjust that in the actual program. Right now we just need a rough drawing with dimensions. I'm going to do a side view, which is we're going to go from just this dimension. Don't have to worry about the round corners. We round those off later in the program. But we're looking for mainly height, length, width, rough shape like that. So just start with a similar. Oh, and I'm using Freecad 1.0.2. Should be the newest version. We'll do just a little sketch here. It's not very important what it looks like to begin with. So this is just a side kind of profile view, and we'll get some, turn this into a three-dimensional drawing. Just to give a little better representation so we can get our width, write down our width, which we'll start with. I'm gonna call this we'll call that 85, and these are the internal. When I'm measuring the external of anything, these are going to be the internal dimensions. So so it's 85 to get it to fit in there, millimeters. Make a little note there. And then I do 3 millimeter sides, or pretty much anything like that. So we got to add 6 onto that. So the overall width is going to be 91 millimeters. And that, sorry, I don't have working on getting a overhead camera. Okay, then we need kind of this That was the width. We kind of need the front to back, or depth, I'm going to call it. And that looks like about, I'm going to go with, maybe we'll do 38. So that's going to be the depth of the pocket. 38 millimeter depth. And then I just kind of have to hold it up and do an estimate on, yes. And you could actually do this on the paper. You could kind of, this is where, say the leading edge of the paper here is going to be where we want the flat front end, and 86 is right about here, so we'll just kind of make a mark here, and then we can measure that. Here we got, we'll call that 96 millimeters. That's 91, and then the height here will also be, this one will, it's kind of a judgment call here. We're gonna go with 90. Yeah, we'll go with a 90 on that height. This is going to be a 90-degree corner. So here's what we're up to now. And I think that should get us close enough to open up the Freecad program and get going. Don't forget to turn off your calipers so you don't waste any batteries. Get my keyboard out here and my mouse, and we'll be back in a minute with a different camera angle. Okay, here we are with the Freecad program on. You'll have to, if you don't have this already, you'll have to download it and then open it so you have it on your desktop, whatever. And this is when you double click on your icon, it'll pop up to this screen. So I'm going to try and go slow, and this is kind of one of the most important boxes, is right up here. Mine came up as Sketcher right now, but everything I have done, and I have made a lot of very complex multi-gimbal swivel mounts. These are just some of the simple, I'm going to try and show a simple meter base, because this would be something I think a lot of my viewers would like, plus my best friend up north, seen the couple I had, like I said earlier, and was very interested in. He's having trouble navigating this. Like it took me a couple months just to get it down. So it seems like it's pretty easy, but it's just hard getting, I guess, good videos. There, people are always do this and they don't have a colored mouse, and and they're just clicking away, and I want to try and be as detailed as I can. So you open it up, it'll come up like this. This is Sketcher. We do not want that. Hit the down arrow, and then we are going to go to part design, is what I always go to, is part design. Then you see over here we get the start part and create body. You will click on create body, And then right there where it was, it now says create sketch. We're going to create a sketch. And you can either click on one of these to highlight it. Here's like the XZ is what I would use for this particular project. So you can click there and hit OK. Or you can just come over here and double click on the pane you want. Now, this is what you end up with is this screen. Your crosshairs is your center point. You always want to try and make one of your points start here, just so you have a reference point. So I'm going to go ahead now and make that side view that I showed you earlier. And it's just a rough sketch. You don't have to, because we're going to put the dimensions in later. It doesn't have to be perfect now. But a couple of key points are here where we're going to go up first, and I got to find my, I must still have the old version on my my other laptop that I usually work on. But so there's this weird shaped thing between the single dot and the single line, and this just allows us to make several points in any various shape. So I'm going to click on that. It's called a polyline. So we're creating a polyline. Click on that, and then you get this your little crosshairs, and it shows the polyline off to the side. Now, what you do is when you pull these crosshairs over, see how that line turns blue, and you get a little arch. You get a little arch right here. That shows you you're on this line, or if you were here, it would be on this line. That just tells you that you made contact with that line, and you do want to be, you know, watch for your contact points. If you come right up to dead center, then notice you get the X, and that's what we're looking for in this instant. That locks it into that point. And so that one is important, the first, and then left click. I find it easier when you got the X, just let go of the mouse and then left click. And then we can come over here, and you see here we have all of a sudden that half arch shows up. That means we're locked onto that line. It gives you some dimensions there too, but I don't usually worry too much about that. This is going to be smaller. Also, the other indicator here too, so we're locked onto the line. We are also in a perfect horizontal position. So even if you're slightly off a little bit, the line disappears there. We got contact. When we click on that, it will make it perfectly horizontal. And then we're going to go vertical. See, like right here, well, I'm going to make this one crooked intentionally, just so I can show you how to straighten that out. And then we're going to go up here. Let's just say anywhere here. Like I said, we're just making a rough drawing. Now we're looking for that half arch again, because we want to be locked on that line. And then click. And then we're coming down, and we're going to connect with that very first point that we made. And there we got the X, and we can click on that. And now our box is contained. You right click a couple times to get out of the tool. The lines are orange here, so that means something is weird. We want them to be white, and so sometimes you have to, I clicked on that little vertical line there, they turn green, and then hit the delete key. Nope, that didn't do it. It's probably one of these arches then. I don't know if that was that last one. Usually if you pay attention, you can know which one it is. Okay, there it is. It went away. Now we got the black line. And if you grab any one of these points now, you can see everything is still all movable because nothing is locked in. And the lines are all, so you can do any kind of weird shape. So don't get too excited about trying to get things perfect. Just get it all kind of laid out. And then we're going to go to those dimensions, like our base right here. We're going to click on our baseline and see how it highlights. And you can choose different colors. this is just what came up. I haven't changed them. I did the download this morning for this particular computer because it'd be easier to see, I think. So I've clicked on that, and now I have to go up and find. They have definitely. Okay, so now this is it. You have to click on this box. I think it was simpler the other way. So we're doing a horizontal line, so we want to pick here's your horizontal, here's your vertical. These are weird, anything that isn't, straight across horizontally or vertically, then you would use this line. But we're doing a horizontal one, so we're going to click on that. And I guess we're going to come down and click on the line. And now we can put in our length, which was, for that base, was 96, I have my keyboard back here, 96 millimeters. And we put in 96, and then you can come down here and hit OK. And that stretches it out here. We're going to zoom out a little bit. Screwing up here. I'm trying to make it bigger in the center here. Okay. Well, we're going to have to go up higher anyway. So that's our width. And then our height here, we're just going to, I'm going to get a right click to get out of that. I'm going to just drag this over because this is going to be one of our vertical lines. And go up to here, I guess, again. And we are going to go to our vertical constraint. And then when the line turns, in this case, light blue, like I said, your colors could be different, but you see it change. It goes from whatever it is standard to when you're hovering over it. And it's nice, you don't have to be right on. You see it stays blue for a little bit, so you don't have to be exact. So as long as the colors change, you're there. And then now we can put our, we're going to do 90 millimeters for height. And you can click OK. You can just hit enter on the keyboard also. So there's our base and our back height. And now actually, and I'm going to get out of this, and we can drag this up. This is where we're going to get our point here. And now this is going to be another trick because I got to find where. Usually I click here, click there. Yeah, see, that's not holding like I'm so used to the old way now. This is a little bit of a bummer for me too. So we're both learning. So let's go to here and see, okay, so here's the angle constraint. And now we're there. Now we can click that line. I'm not sure if we have to, okay, you don't have to hold down the Control or Alt key. It just takes both. And this one we're gonna want, this is the one we want a 90-degree angle. So we type in 90, hit OK. Now that locks into 90. So now we'll right click to get out of that. Now if I grab this point, the 90 always stays there. And see, this line isn't perfectly, so we're gonna, let's see if we can do where do we gotta go for that one now? Here we want the vertical constraint. And then when we click on this, you'll watch it snap right over to perfect. Now, right click to get out of that. And then if we grab this point again, you'll see now only a few things are changing. See, and then we'll come down, we'll go back up to this one and do our vertical constraint again. And we're gonna click on this line and it'll snap over. Right click to get out. Now, when we grab this, you see we only have limited, we keep getting smaller, and ideally it's called a constraint. That's the other thing that was very confusing when I first started out. I didn't know what a constraint was, and it was very hard to find. When things are locked in place, that's when it's constrained. So this and this and this are constrained now, and this 90 is constrained. But we can vary distances, you can see on those two, because we haven't created a length for this yet. So that let me just see here. I think we're going to go with, I didn't get that one to measurement here, but I'm thinking that's going to be around 30 is usually, let's do 32. We're going to do 32 millimeters. And so I got to go over to this weird looking icon, but it says dimension. And we're going to go with a vertical constraint and come over here and click that. And we're going to do 32 there and hit OK. And now I don't even know, I'll right click to get out. Usually I don't have to, so you can't go up or down. You can only move this one line because there is no constraint yet. And so to get the 35-degree angle, we're going to go to the angle tool, constraint angle, click on that, and we are going to click here and here. We want 35-degree angle, but this is an obtuse angle we're working, so we have to take the 180 degrees of a straight line and subtract the 35, and that would be 145 degrees. And so we're going to put that in and say OK, and then that sets our angle. Everything turned green here now. Right click to get out, so you get your arrow back. And now nothing will move. It's all locked in place. Nothing, you can't drag any of these pieces. So that's our actual size. Now, off to the left here, and it says right here, if you can see, it's fully constrained. That lets you know that you can continue with other things. Now, you can go in here and change any of these things to different dimensions that have, parentheses here anyway. By right-clicking, and then it says change value, and we could go in there and we could change that 32 to a 30 if we want. We're going to leave it, but just so you have an idea where that works with anything that works with the angle constraint. Right-click, change value. There's your angle. We could change the angle. Cancel. But we're all done with. So you got to scroll back up to the top here. Oh, it looks like something changed here now with the new. Oh no, here it is. They got it up here now. So now we're going to close out, and we're going to hit pad, which sounds weird, but because we want to extend this out now to build our solid block. We're building a solid block, and then we're going to cut away on it. So it's called padding. It usually pads with 10 millimeters. When you click on that, pads it out. We're 10 millimeters, but our particular, what we want is 91. So we're going to put 91 in there, and you can hit OK. And now you see we get the full, you're starting to see the full project here. Now these keep popping up, and I don't know enough. Migrating start workbench to start command done. I don't know. I just X out of those. So this is what I'm happy with. Now we have to start working on cutting out the block for the actual meter itself. And so I'm going to go to this face. I want to cut in the notch. And this is the face I want to be, so it's parallel with the back with this front face. It's going to be an opposite kind of 90 of what we have. That'll be recessed for the meter. So this is the face we click on, and then we want to hit, you can either hit create sketch over here, or you can use this little box, a square and a circle up here, and hit create sketch. That redraws. Now we're with that. I'll try and let's see here. I'm going to shrink this down here a little bit, or move it. I can go here and do it over here at the box, just to see. There again, I just want to see where I'm at, because when it flips it around, so this is the face I selected, that we're going to do the cutout now. And this, it took the bottom line. So we are going to have to move this line. We want to come up even with this line because that's where we want to start our cutout. Now this is a little more complex. Here, model. I bet you it's under there. Okay. I don't know what that one is. So this is, that's different. So this is a history of what we've done. So when you're under pad, here's the sketch that we had, our initial sketch. So you can always go back and change things. And that is, it's kind of backwards of what you think. I would always think sketch would be first and then the pad, but the sketch is contained under pad and you use these little drop down arrows. Then here's the next sketch is where we started. I'm going to close that one. Going back to model to get back. So this is a redundant one just because I clicked on. So I'm going to delete that one. So this is the way it should look now. So here is our second sketch. And now we got to go to the model and click only once on the sketch. And then we get all of this. So this is where it gets a little, we want to change, this is called an attachment point, and we want to move that to this to start our cutout. So you have to click on the attachment and then the position, because we're changing the position of where it's attached. And then I'm just going to guess it's usually Z for the face that I choose. And you can just do a couple clicks. You'll see if it's moving. So I'm up to 3 and it's not moving anywhere. So let's try X. There we go. See, now it's moving. And this should end up being 32 because that was the height we made. And nope, for some reason it says 26, but it knows. And if we go past, you'll see your past, one back, and we're right on. We want to just double check that. We can go up, click on here, see, and here's our bottom, here's our back, and this is the space we're going to make a cutout for the meter. So everything is good there where we're going to start. Now we want to make the box for our cutout. Here it is, here they are, good. So it's already in box mode. Now you can, later on, there's different boxes you can do centered when you're doing symmetrical insides and outs and rounded rectangle. That's a new one. So this is definitely a newer addition than what I've been using previously. I just got this computer out on the workbench, and it's an old computer, but was getting it. So I'm hoping this will be easier for everybody to see because it's a bigger screen. So we're just checking rectangle, and then, I'm gonna right click on that to get there's this little weird box here. It's like a little barbell on a pedestal on a box. And that gives us, this is the, it puts, well, let me just click one here, and I'm trying to think which one I want to click. Well, we can click this one. We know we need this one for sure. And then you see you get your 2 dots, and we're going to need those 2 dots for figuring out how many millimeters in our edges are and stuff. And this way doesn't really matter. So we're going to right click, get out of that, and then go back to the box, select that, and we're gonna click. See, we get that little arch again, means that and the line changes color, but that means we're clicked on that line. We're locked on. It's just press once, then drag, and then press a second time, and then right click to get out of that. And this is where we're going to use these dots that we formed using this little box up here. And then there again, now this will be interesting if, see the dot highlights, I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to go up and click on this dot, it turned green, and it's not giving me a vertical dimension. So I think we just have to go to the vertical constraint. Oh, okay, I clicked them to hit the vertical constraint. Now I can punch in the 3, because we want the wall thicknesses to be 3 millimeters. That's a good sturdy but thin without wasting plastic. So that locks us into thin 3 millimeters there. We're going to go down here again. I hope you can see these are changing color, but you just got to get close, and they change color. Back up here to the vertical constraint. We're going to another 3 millimeter there. Okay. Thin that out, and this is fine. This doesn't matter if it overhangs, because we're just cutting into the box anyway. So we just have to highlight one of these and come up to horizontal, and we can just constrain that like that. Hit OK. Now everything I'll change to, see our main box we're working with, change to green. Go back to tasks here, and we're all done, fully constrained. That's what you need to, you'll get all kinds of error messages if you're not fully constrained, but you can tell again when the box changes color. On both my computers it's been green, but there again you can customize your colors. We're going to close that and go to task, and now we're going to make a pocket. And we said we wanted 38 millimeters deep, so we're going to see how that works out. Click on the pocket, see how it went in 5 millimeters here. You can kind of see in the recess, but we're going to put in 38 and hit OK. And there's our box now. And I do miss the rotate. It moves it around, but it doesn't rotate it. That's something new I'm going to have to figure out. You can always rotate it this, like this. You can take a look all the way around. We'll just get back. And there's even, you can tip up. You want, that's kind of looking down on the meter, go right back to that, or you can even get weird angles, like we were, so you get the real true 3-dimensional. So that should be it for our main box. Oh, and let me just show you one other, we got to get, is the top view do it? Yeah, so once we're in here, we can go in, there's a little tape measure thing here. Measure, standard measure. Why? Oh, it looked like a pipe wrench to me. It's a caliper. Okay. So we should be able to click here. Oh, maybe that's not gonna. Yep, there's the 38 millimeters. So it is 38 millimeters deep. Okay, so that's a little nicer than the other one once you get used to using that. And we can just close that. We don't really need, I just wanted to double check that we were deep enough. And now we can go back to, oh, I guess we didn't want that view. We're going to have to go around a couple times here because I went the wrong way. Come on. God, it's so easier when you can just grab. Used to be able to just press the button and grab. Let's try to see what the down arrow does. Okay, that's a little, maybe this will give us the, okay. And you gotta, if it's for some reason way over here, like this, it's off screen, you just pull your cursor over here and then it sucks it toward the cursor. Once it's centered, then you can kind of blow it up to whatever you need. So you can work on the finer things here now. Okay, now we want to round these corners off here just to give it a little, make it look a little nicer. So you can see and click on that line. Now here, I believe you'll have to hold the control key. Yeah, control key on PC, and it's I think command on a Mac. But that highlights both those corners. And now we want to go in, we're going to go to fillet. And that works both for filling in a corner. I'll show you filling in a corner here too. We'll do that. But it's rounded. The chamfer version is an angle. So we're going to do the fillet because we just want to do a round. Why not have the round? So we're going to click on that. And here you can just kind of, you see it made a little round corner, but we're going to let's just start off with like 12 millimeters is roughly a 1/2 inch radius. And we'll just see how it looks. Go to OK there. And yeah, we can see maybe a little bit more here. So we can go back to model here to the fillet, and then down here it's 12. Click on that, and let's go to 16 millimeters. And just hit enter, and that made it a little broader. And then here I'll just show you the inside. Let's see, how are we going to get this? Will do. Oh, we're going to have to go. We're going to go here. We're going to lock in on this one, and then we're going to have to go back. And hold the control key and lock in this one, and then we're going to go to tasks again, and let's do a fillet, an internal fillet. So there, it made an internal one, and our meter is, let me just take a quick peek at it. We got plenty of radius there, so we'll just do like a 3, just so you guys can see, and that'll strengthen your joints too. You just have to make sure you have your clearances. Click on OK, and see it makes a nice internal fillet. So either way, it's either convex or concave, depending on what surface you're working on. That's as fancy as I'm going to get with this. So then we're going to go to, we got to go to File, and we haven't even done anything yet. So I'm going to hit Save As. And that way I can actually type in, I'm going to put in the meter I'm making this for is a Zoe ZT 703S. 703S. And we'll put stand. And let's see, make sure, where am I at here? Document, I want to save, I'd like to, oh, it's under Jeff. I want to save the desktop. I save everything to desktop. Okay, oh, here, I got to click over here. So now this PC desktop. So I'm going to save that to the desktop. Okay, and then now here's the tricky part. That's saved the file for us to, we can make some changes later. But now we want to actually get it ready into a printable file that a printer will recognize. So we got to go to Model, and we got to make sure that the body is highlighted. That needs to be highlighted. And then we're going to go back up to File, and then down to Export. And here it comes up with and it always says body on here. I just, I don't know why that's weird. It's not. There, it didn't want to delete. I think on this computer I probably need to hit the backspace. So now it's the 3MF format manufacturing. And there again, I want to save that to desktop. Okay, so now we should be ready to go to the next stage. And We'll be back in a minute with that. And we are going to go back into, I want to go, we're going to go face on, and I want to go on the bottom, click on this, and we're going to hit sketch. And there we are. I just have to, when it twists like that, I lose my orientation. Okay, so we got to go horizontal with this. So here we're on the bottom now. Okay, I'm going to grab a box thing. What I'm doing is we're just, instead of wasting plastic here, we are just going to go and make a big cutout. Something like this. Right click to get out of that. I gotta just take a peek again because I already forgot. I'm pretty sure that's the back and this is the front. Yep. Okay. That's the front. And this is that little barbell box thing here. That's giving us measurement points. There. Right click to get out of that. And let's see, we can go right to, on this back side, 3mm, excuse me. I'm gonna have to go up here. I should have probably enlarged this for you guys, but we are just doing a quick fix here. 3mm there, that takes it out to there. And the front here, I think we'll do 6. Horizontal constraint, we'll do 6mm, about a 1/4 inch. We're gonna, maybe we'll do 10. Leave a little beefier up there. Okay, and then on our sides, probably just want to make a slot. We'll go with 40mm. So how do I want to do that? Well, 40 in the center. And I don't know, I forget what this was. This was, let me look at my paper, that was 91. We want a whole 40mm across, so that would be 49, right? If we take 91 minus 40, we'll just take off 41. That'll be 50 divided by 2. We want 25mm on each side. So click here and here. We're going to see how this turns out. We're going to go to vertical. We're doing a vertical constraint now. And we'll see how 25 there and vertical constraint. 25 here, hit OK. Well, that's a pretty good slot. Now here's what I was telling you earlier, we can go over here. Here's the 2 that we just put in, and then that looks like, let's just try one at 20. We're going to change it to 20. This is how we change it. Hit OK. That narrowed. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. We're going to change this one to 20 also then. We want it to be symmetrical. 20, okay. And it's all turned green, so we're fully constrained. If we go up here, it tells us we're fully constrained. We can close. And we're going to go back to task, and we are going to pocket. And we want to pocket, let's just go with I think 90 gets us clear. There again, this doesn't have to be exact, but now we'll see. There's the top. Yep. So see, that saved us a lot of plastic and printer time. And we don't need that for support. We just need the support around the edges of the, so that'll save us some. So we'll hit the save button. That'll update the deal. And we got to go back to model, highlight body. This one we have to actually re-export because it's a whole different file now. And I am going to go right to here where I was before, and I'm going to try the backspace key, see if that works now. Okay. And I'm going to put 2 on here because this is the second one, and we are still saved to desktop, and we're going to hit save, and it should show up on the desktop somewhere here. Here it is, save to. Okay. It's over here. I'll bring that up to the top. I'm going to open Bamboo Studio now. Thinking, I gotta wait a second here. I might not here, let's right click and open. And we're sure. No, it's opening. Yeah, I don't think I double clicked on that last one. Okay. And we don't want to use that one. We want, because that's the solid version. We're going to drag number 2. Here's number 2. We're going to drag number 2 in. Change that out, and there you have it. Now we'll see. That was, I forget what the last one was, like 3 hours or something. This will be a little less time and save plastic. We're still, everything is set here. Quality strength is fine for this. Slice plate. Slice is okay. Also tells you here how many meters of filament you're going to use, or how many grams. I go by the grams because I know what my empty spools weigh, and when I start getting low, I can weigh the spool, and then take the empty weight, subtract the empty weight, and then I know how many grams I have left on the spool, and I can pick my projects to finish off the filament without much waste then. So to me, that's important, the grams. I don't know there's no way to do it meter wise. Weight gets real close. This is 95 grams. I would make sure I have at least 105 on there, extra 10 grams. Just, and then there's very little waste. So we are done there. We can hit this up arrow. That just gets rid of that box, and we can hit print. I have my printer already turned on. So here, we got it on the plate and we sliced it. And now we're going to go to print plate. And now the printer comes up, and you got to click on this box here. And then that gives the 4 boxes from the AMS. I know I want box 2. And because that's the gray PET G. I'm going to hit send. And this box pops up when you're not using bamboo filaments. I'm using a generic PET G. So then I just confirm, and now it's off and on its way to the printer. So I'm going to get out of here, and we'll head over to the printer. Okay, here we're in on the printer, and it's about to get started printing. It's just waiting for the temperature. There it goes. So it makes a little test pass here, and then I'll start the actual print here. I'm not going to run the whole print here for you, but We'll show you the start and try and get the finish. And then we can do a test and see how it fits. Back. We'll just run a little bit here just so you get a feel for it. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm going to turn this off and I'll see if I can catch it when it's on the finish. Otherwise, we'll take a peek when it's all done and try the meter out on it. We'll be back soon. Here it is, just finishing up here the last few minutes. Okay, here we are back out the bench. We finished the print. These were the previous two I showed you that I had done, and this is the one that we did in the description. You can see they're real similar. In fact, this one does work in here. It's just a little sloppier. But so we just tightened up the tolerances a little bit. But the main goal was to show you how to do some stuff in Freecad, so you don't have to, you can make all your own custom stuff. And it's fun. So if you enjoyed this and you like it, give me the thumbs up, subscribe. Appreciate everybody for watching. Thanks so much.